mind of such a person. And so I believe that this autobiography built over to share and to pass on, achieve in this world. I am looking at every instruction that you understand, and sometimes you need to know. So I am looking forward to read this book. I'm looking forward to understanding why George Andah uses the expression easy of why and how he does and did what he used to do. I want to encourage you as people on several levels. Some are related to George Andah as a friend. Some are somebody you have just admired from a distance. He does things the way he does it and why he has been able to achieve all that he has been able to achieve. It's going to be a blessing to you as well.
It's not often the case that the younger sibling says after inspiration for the older one, but that is it. I've been fascinated by the enigma that is George Andah, the different facets of his amazing personality, from the gregarious, outgoing, can-do guy, organizer, to the softer side of him that we see on a daily. And as the good people of Senior Breku will attest to, this side of extremely tender side of him when he's dealing with his animals, various animals. I learn a lot, both good and bad, but I did benefit from both experiences and grow from them. But it has been a blessing. It's a very welcome addition to what we have in our Ghanaian literary scene. I think one of my favorite, what we read can shape our lives.
Hello everyone, my name is Ashutosh Tiwari. I'm from India of Africa, has been my home for last more than 15 years. One of the perks of being in the continent and work in the telecom industry is I got to know a rare gem like George Andah. But clearly, one of the biggest assets he got is that he is an out and out. He always motivates them to do bigger and better things in life. And on the other, great executional strengths. This helps him transform his vision into reality. Coming to the book, matters your supporters and people at large to give an insight this full time so that your impact could have scale. People could see and feel your impact across different. Joined as the Chief Operating Officer of Glow Ghana. We got to work very closely to launch as Director and Chief Marketing for various top multinational brands. My
side of the street.
Literally,
A couple of weeks ago,
yes, a couple of weeks ago, we were
testified.
we were talking about this human being and other, yours truly. Yes,
We can go on and on and on, and I'm sure even in this very auditorium, if I pass this microphone round, the stories that we are going to hear. Should we? Ladies and gentlemen, my biggest honor. No, and friend, Nenyi George Andah. A big hand for the man.
I think Abuaji wanted to check his. This is the day that the Lord has made. Distinguished guests, family, friends. First, let me thank you all for choosing to spend. I have no intention to bore you with a long speech, except, no, it was Abuaji George Quay. He was talking about how I dyed my beard yellow. Dyed yellow as well. To pen down parts of my story, conversation that I had with Uncle Ebo White 15 years, to believe with very firm conviction, to know that everything is achievable once you put your minds at it. Indeed, of truth that You and I may face challenges in life. Focus, the right network, and support. Inshallah, we will get there. To put out this autobiography by my 40th. But I thought the writing of this autobiography was taking cumulative to all those who availed themselves to be interviewed, especially Mrs. Patricia Kwedu, who tells the story from the underside. As it is often quoted, we are a sum of our experiences. I, therefore, could not have gathered enough experiences worthy of a book without the guidance of my mentors, my bosses, my work colleagues, my family, my friends, and the numerous individuals that I've interacted with over the years. To you all, I say thank you for helping me get this far. And to my brother Eddie, who was looking for X-rated portions of the book. First, everything I learned that was X-rated, please blame the chairman. Secondly, every X-rated portion was removed by Father Charles. So blame him for the missing portions. Mr. Chairman, distinguished guests, may I at this moment request your kind permission to be on your feet and observe a minute's silence in remembrance of some very special people whom I've written about in this book, but are physically not here with us today. They are amongst the angels in heaven, watching over us. To my parents, John and Teresa Andah, to my paternal and maternal grandparents, to my uncle, Dr. Emmanuel Kweku Andah, also known as Nenyi the Fifth, my mother-in-law, my former boss, Amma Hamza, my very good friends, George Posu Ampuma, Kofi Amofa Achampong, Bill Kwanzaa, Benjamin Bruce Tusa, Tiklo, to my mentor, my coach, a great inspiration, Mr. Tobo Mensah, and Honorable Opeabe. Please let's observe a minute's silence. May their souls and the souls of all the faithful departed, through the mercy of God, rest in peace. Amen. Please be seated. In conclusion, I hope that this book inspires everyone who reads it to be better than his or her former self. I hope that it motivates every reader to dare out of his or her comfort zone. And finally, I hope that it ignites the determination to do more and to be more in our hearts and in the minds. Once again, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to all of you for coming. It does mean the world to me. And thank you all also in advance for the big money that you're about to invest in this book, even as I'm determined to do more. May the good Lord continue to guide us all, because the mission is possible. I look forward to interacting with each one of you during the signing phase of the program. Ladies and gentlemen, Do enjoy the evening. Thank you.
A big hand, ladies and gentlemen. A big hand for him, ladies and gentlemen. I was trying to get him to speak from there, but he insisted. He said, no, the people here are too wonderful. I cannot speak from my seat. I would have to mount the stage like everyone else, even with a stick. Ladies and gentlemen, a big hand again. If we've heard from the author, I think it's about time we launched the book properly. What do you say? Oh, ladies and gentlemen, the president is here. A big hand for the president. Oh, I mean Red Rockstone, Hip Life president. Oh, the other one. No. I'm talking the Hip Life president, so. Reggie, Akwawa. Again, we're gonna look at the screens as we get ready to unveil or launch the book. And then I'm going to invite my boss to, direct the affairs from now till then. Please get ready to go into your wallets and your checkbooks and everything else. This is the part that we get to show our love to Big George Andah. Let's see the video. Shall we have the lights down, please? Shall we have the lights down, please? Ladies and gentlemen, now that this is shown on the screens, I'll crave your indulgence. A big hand, please, a big hand. I'd humbly ask our chairman, two ushers, so that we can unveil this, then we'll get to see the books. Chair, if you can please, then you can officially.
Do hereby declare the book Determined to Do More duly launched. Round of applause. Thank you.
When I saw the book earlier, I was like, boy, this is huge. Then somebody whispered to me that this is only volume 1. Ladies and gentlemen, I did tell you my boss will be taking over from this point. This is the part where we get to show our love. This is the part where we get to show our commitment. Get ready to dig deep. We are going to see those who are going to be purchasing these books right now. I'm going to be buying one. At this point, please join me. Welcome upstage the one and only Chairman General Kwame Sefakai.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you all very much for coming out tonight for George. I am quite happy that My brother from about 40 years ago is the chairman. And I'll tell my story when I asked him to buy a few books for a very handsome amount of money. I'm happy to see you. I hope that in spite of your traditional title and the fact that you are board chair of an industry I work in and you can actually make me unemployed by decreeing that the license should be revoked, I believe that I can take a few liberties and still call you Awagu. Ladies and gentlemen, I noticed that to his right is a colleague who I can no longer call a colleague because he's a big man now. He's the minister in charge of my sector. And I'd like to invite Mr. Kojo Ponkroma, who is Member of Parliament for Fuasia Irebi and Information Minister, to take us through the book reading. Kojo, good evening and welcome.
A big hand, ladies and gentlemen.
You know, when you're in a room with so many Catholic priests and they invite you to the podium, feels like you're about to read the Bible. But I think the last 4 or 5 days, I've had the opportunity to read this entire book. And it confirmed for me a few things. In fact, the first reason for which I agreed to do a review and to read this was because, George, I wanted to find out if all the stories I had heard about were true. And indeed, they are true. And then the second reason was that Madame Elizabeth Ohene had said that this was a story of a young man who saw the possibilities of mobile money long before anyone believed Ghanaians could be persuaded to appreciate the merits of cashless transactions. And I was thinking to myself, so indeed, you are the guy behind the e-levy experience we had in this country. But on a more serious note, the reason for which this book excites me dates back to 16 years ago when I was given the challenge of hosting a breakfast show on Joy FM. And the gentleman who had hosted it prior to that, Komla Dumont, had done it for about 10 years and had so much experience. And I spent my first 2 years just messing up. I was a hopeless starter, despite the fact that my management kept encouraging me. And I kept thinking to myself, if only Komla had left me a book. If only Komla had left me something that outlined his experiences, maybe my mistakes would be less. And for me, it is critical that people who've been through various things, corporate, politics, many other facets of life, leave something that can open a window to those who want to follow that path to understand. I want to read from pages 233 to about pages 223 to 233. And they talk about George's decision to enter politics and the battles and the advice that he ought not to enter politics. And it says from the last paragraph of page 223, says, when I decided to participate in active politics, someone who thought I was making a bad decision sent me what he called 10 reasons why politics was not good for me. To him, the things associated with active politics do not conform to my personality and my principles, and hence I should stay away from them. I reproduce his reasons just as he sent them to me. In politics, you must understand the following. 1, nobody has your interest. 2, everybody is chasing their interests. 3, dealing with politicians is like sleeping with tigers. You must always have your eyes wide open. 4, and this is one of my favorites. In any political equation, there's always someone being used. If you look around and you can't find that person, then it is you. 5, serving politicians is like a bandage on a wound. Once the wound is healed, your usefulness ends. 6, in politics, never will more than the bereaved.
They will get the reward while you inherit their enemies. 7, in politics, in any event, if other interests conflict with your interests and you have to choose, always choose yours. Number 8, never cross oceans for politicians. You may drown. And it goes on and on. But then he concludes, and that is where the real lesson is. He says that as much as I understood the sentiments he raises in the above pointers, the question I ask myself is, if not me, then who? Whether we like it or not, democracy is what we have allocated to ourselves. We therefore need people to take an active interest in it. It is unfortunate that how some politicians have conducted themselves over the years has probably given credence to these sentiments expressed earlier. And George goes on to say that we need to change these sentiments. The people must have belief in the system of government because that is the only way true development can occur. I was motivated to contribute my part in making politics attractive to people like me, and indeed to all Ghanaians, and to the best of my ability. That is exactly what I've tried to do ever since I became part of frontline politics in Ghana. While contesting for the Utu Senya West parliamentary seat, I prepared and shared my message with the voters, a copy of which is found in Appendix 1. I'm working hard to live by that message, hopefully with God on my side. The journey has not been easy, as I have stated. Nonetheless, I'm still soldiering on. I came into politics with my integrity intact, and I intend to keep it as such. The sad thing, though, is keeping your integrity is one of the most difficult things to do in Ghanaian politics. While I strive hard to serve and execute my duties with the